Hello everyone, welcome to martechai.com. Today we have with us Mr. Anand Jain, who is the co-founder of CleverTap. CleverTap is one of the premier martech and AI in marketing agencies in India. Thank you so much, Mr. Jain, for giving us your time. We welcome you.
Thank you, Brij. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Um, we have seen a lot of movements in the whole martech ecosystem. I talked to several marketers. Even they are unsure of what new is coming. Last year we were at 14,000 tools. This year we are at 15,000 tools. The market is being bombarded by newer tools. In all of this, the customer journey has become very fractured,
Correct.
across several touch points. Where do you see right now what good is happening to MarTech right now? And what are the lags, gaps that we are seeing today?
Got it. So I think let's take a specific market and then we can talk about the fragmented customer journey, right? So let's take India as an example and say that what makes and minus Martech, just like let's think from the eyes of the consumer, right? So people like you and me, right? India is fairly fragmented as a country, like in terms of languages we speak, devices we hold, like the network realities, like some people are on 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, Wi-Fi, prepaid plans, postpaid plans. So very wild digital behavior, right? We kind of go across the full spectrum, right? In terms of that, as if that is itself not challenging. The languages we speak every 100 kilometers, I'm sure you know this. The spoken languages changes. English is not everyone's first language, so there is all sorts of complexities there, right? Plus there are cultural diversities, like the kind of festivals we celebrate, the kind of rituals we do, and so on and so forth, right? So if you think from a customer's perspective, they are doing what's normal and natural for them. But if you think from the brand's perspective, hey, why are these people buying this product at this time of the day, or this, in this season? And like, why are they ignoring everything that I showed to them, and so on and so forth, right? So I think that we have to keep in mind, like, especially the buyer journey in a market like India, right? That's truly unique. Okay. And so hence, like, a lot of the things that we do through calendar based system, Western calendar system may not be applicable to us, right? Like, I mean, today is the last day of the Navratri festival, like, which is very different. It's different days, different 9 days every year. Like, it's not the same, unlike a Christmas holiday, or unlike, like a New Year's Eve, right? So, and there are things like that that are very specific to India. Uh, if you look at it from the perspective of businesses like ours, like, that kind of, like, or not business, like our customers, like, you then you realize that, okay, not everyone has the like the budget, the kind of budget that is required to run, like, multiple tools, right? So what typically happens is that you will start buying products in bits and pieces, like, they and they expect the platform to truly deliver ROI, right? They lag behind the expertise, they lag behind, like, how can I think of my customer data as a holistic thing, like, end-to-end practice, right? Again, which leads to more fragmentation, and it leads to more chaos in a typical enterprise, right? And of course, the India scale, or the Asia scale, as we call it, like, we go explain it to our customers in the West, and that just mind boggles, like, like, hey, how can you have like an app 500 million downloads, or a billion, like, users using this? So I think scale wise also, because you have to accommodate, and I'm talking about some of the most widely popular apps, like, think financial services, think streaming apps, think cricket apps, like, those kind of apps, right? Because of the diversity, etc., of every single customer user, and at that level of scale, you got to adapt to that scale. So the scale is, I would call it, very, very unforgiving, right? And also the buying behavior of brands. Most of the brands, and this is from the beginning, right? They buy kind of piecemeal solutions, like, they'll start with like an email vendor or SMS vendor, then they'll buy something that does pop-ups on the website, and then it goes all the way, where they have to now stitch everything together, right? They have to go, be best friends with the engineering team and say, hey, can you stitch all of this in our data in some sort of a visualization, so I can see my customer journey end to end? Even if you're able to do that, you're only able to kind of just see the journey and not intervene at the right time.
Hmm.
And hence these things feel disconnected. They feel like discontinuous, and so on and so forth.
So how does CleverTap come in? Because right now, if you talk to marketers, if you talk to brands, there are multiple gaps across the MarTech journey. There's there's a gap when it comes to collating the right data, then using the right data,
Mhm.
finding the right spot, finding the right spot for real-time engagement in that data.
Correct.
Then also doing all of this while ensuring that the user's privacy is not, intervened into.
Mhm.
Where does a company like CleverTap come in? How do you solve that issue?
No, a great question, I would say. This is some of the challenges that we saw in my previous organization, which was like a large media house in India. And we saw the customer journey was disconnected, because we were engineers, we were not the one buying tools, but we were the ones tasked to integrate everything together, right? Bring it all like together, create this dashboard where we can visualize customer journey or customer data. And then, but like I said, the intervention was lacking, because by the time you stitch everything together, it would be like few hours like you're lagging behind the actual customer, because you have to collect this data, you have to ETL it. ETL is extract transform load for the uninitiated, and then you
Hmm.
have to display it in a dashboard, right? Leaves you with no chance to intervene. So we started CleverTap with the thought process. We started this in 2013 with the thought process that we need to unify the data layer, right? And we started looking for databases. We just couldn't find anything out there in the market. So we invented our own data technology. We call this Tesseract DB, um, which a customer like my customer could kind of throw in their customers, web information, their app data, their contact center, their point of sale system. All of this can reside in one system, right? In one data platform of CleverTap, and then utilize this one piece, one single source of truth, for multiple things like insights and analytics, where are my people dropping off, and you can segregate this by web and app traffic, right? You can do segmentation, you can run predictions, you can do recommendation, product recommendations, because you have all data in one place. People like X, what do they buy? People like why, what they transact, what are the songs they're listening to, what is the food they're ordering. So you can utilize all of this data in one place, right? To understand the users better, to engage them, to experiment, do product A/B testing, message A/B testing, and finally personalize every single piece of communication that goes out to the customer. So platform like ours, where all this can be. Sorry, just sorry, my phone was ringing. Platform where all of this can be achieved through one platform, so you don't end up with fragmented customer journeys. You don't end up with 25 different tools, and your entire business can run in real time from a single source of truth.
Or, there's another thing which concerns marketers today. Long gone are the days. You said you launched the unified data place back in 2013. Back in 2013, also marketers were more psychologists, right?
Mhm.
They would try and interpret what the customer journey is, what the customer wants, and there was no real ROI pressure.
Correct.
Gone are those days, right?
Absolutely right.
Tools like yours now would probably put pressure on a marketer. If he's using your tool, the CEO would
Correct.
want a certain ROI
Correct.
because there's a certain cost involved in buying a Clever Taps tool, right? So, which tools today offer good ROI? Plus, if there are gaps in finding that ROI, can marketers really, in a very fragmented market like India, where customers are coming across, the customer context is very different. Each customer's context is very different. How do you find the real ROI to the campaign that you have created or are using?
Great question again. I think we will break this down into two or three parts, right? One is uh, at a campaign level, you always want to improve click-through rates or conversions. Let's just call it conversions, right? Not even clicks, hey, I sent an email, someone clicked on it, not good enough, right? I want people to come and transact or listen to that song or watch that movie that I was recommending or order the food, and so on and so forth, right? So campaign level, they're trying to optimize conversions. At a business level, they're trying to optimize lifetime value of the customer, right? So if you look at customers in totality, like, how do we make sure that every single customer gets what they came looking for, or whatever we are predicting that they came looking for, and serve them that at the right time, right channel, all those things, such that they go convert, like, they go buy the products that they, might end up consuming. And hence it leads to like a good relationship, loyal customer, good lifetime value, right? So this is the dream promise of every product out there, including ours. Now, it's not possible, since you mentioned, like, which products give you better ROI. It's not possible to give better ROI if you're a fragmented, if you're just doing a, if you're a point solution. If you're
Hmm.
just the email vendor, right, just sending emails, there is no way that you can find out what happened when a person clicked on that email and went to the website. And the website analytics, like, would not know, like, where did this user come from, because for them, they were not responsible for sending that campaign, right?
Hmm.
Or if you're using some other product for like WhatsApp, and a third one for RCS, or you're doing your segmentation somewhere else, it's not possible to put it all together, right? So you get the drift, right? So the only way it is possible is actually to unify your entire marketing stack on one product, right? You may use anything for the last mile delivery. That's all right. Like, so if you have like a vendor that does WhatsApp, but the central nervous system, like, of your marketing, your growth marketing, which is where from psychology now you're ROI focused, or you're looking at data all the time. You're making data driven decisions. You're figuring out in real time, like, hey, how can I serve my users based on what's happening right now in my business, not what's happening, as of yesterday, last week, last quarter, last month, and so on and so forth, right? So who's online right now? What are they looking at? How can I run an intervention so I can see conversions improve? And for that, you need a product that does it in real time, right? So the data technology I was speaking about called Tesseract DB, like, we let this happen at India scale, Asia scale, like, in real time. Number one. Number two, we started with a fragmented journey, and we spoke about, like, have every customer, every person is a little different, different preferences, different tastes, which means that you need to use uh you need to go from targeted marketing, which is treating people in a region, or people male female, or like a certain buying pattern as one group, to one-on-one truly personalized marketing, right? Which means that you have to treat everyone as a segment of one, and you have to give them what they came looking for. And you can take help of experimentation tools. We offer quite a lot of that. Or you can truly take the help of AI, in which what is humanly not possible, where you're sitting and creating campaigns, it does it automatically for you. And it does it at a humongous scale. So the same product, for example, if you're looking at a product, it can describe different qualities of that product, right?
Hmm.
Depending upon who the buyer is and what have they purchased in the past. So some may buy a brand, some may buy a product because they respect the brand, they like, and they associate with that brand. Some may buy it because the color is great. Some will buy it because it's the newest thing, latest fashion, latest product in town. Some people will buy it because, hey, it's a good price, better than what they checked like a couple of weeks ago. So there are
Hmm.
different reasons for buying the same product, right? And if you can use AI to kind of do that right match, you get like a phenomenal ROI for your campaigns, and you get a very, very good lifetime value for your overall business.
Yeah, so I think it's a mix of, what product you are using and who is sitting and analyzing that, because I think
Mhm.
that's what matters as well. Everyone today talks about personalization, but customers still complain about irrelevant ads or messages, right? I mean, you as a customer would see a lot of irrelevant ads while you are running a product first market driven company and still see those ads. From your experience, what does true personalization look like, and what do brands still get wrong? Because today, 70% of budgets are still being used, to target the wrong customer, and not to get that unique customer, but to keep retargeting that customer. So, where is the gap there, and how can you solve that?
Yeah, I'll describe what that perfect world looks like, and then we'll talk about where the gap is, right? So perfect world is matching the right product to the right person or the right audience, right?
Hmm.
Like, if given a person, what is the right product? So if you have, like, like, let's just say 1 million users, and there are 10,000 products in the catalog, like, that is like itself is a hard problem to solve, right? So that's number one. Number two is, if you got both of these things right, what is the right creative and copy that should go along with that product. Like I just described, like, for each attribute of the product, people buy it for different reasons, right? You may buy it because the logo is big here and you want people to notice that logo. Some people buy it because it has it's Supima cotton. Some people buy it because, hey, they like that color, and so on and so forth, right? So what is the right copy? What does it describe like the product as? And that is meant just for you, right? Some people are FOMO driven, some are trust driven, and so on and so forth. What is the right creative? Are people my age group using that product? Are people older than me, younger than me, Asian people, American people, and so on and so forth? What is the right price point? That means you can play around with the different kind of offers. So in the perfect world, this would be like all of these would be different parameters, but they are matched perfectly or near perfectly, right? Should you give like a 20% discount? Should you give like first time buy one get one? Should you do free shipping, free returns? Loyalty points, coins, wallet balance, whatever it is, right? What is the right offer for that person? And finally, what is the right channel and workflow, right? If someone was never expressed an intent in buying your product, if you had to reach out cold to that person, if you do all of these things, what is the channel? What is the time of the day? And how many times are you going to send that message before you
Hmm.
taper off? Correct? So it's a complex problem. It's not an easy problem, right? As you can imagine, right? I mean, and then there are real world scenarios, right? Like if you're ordering food, your preference might change depending upon whether it's raining or not, right? Generally, they say like, when it's raining, people want to have pakoras, right? Or samosas. So that changes, right? Or if it's festive season or this time of fasting, like, people order different food, right? So all of this, there is a third, like there is a external factor, right, that comes into play.
Hmm.
And then finally, there is the competence of the person running the product, like, and the complexities and vagaries of their organization, right? Sometimes larger organizations have, like very siloed approaches, like, there's one person running email, the other guy does web banners. I was speaking to a customer earlier today, and they said the person who places the banner on top of the, like on their homepage, is different than the one sending out email campaigns, like, that leads to fragmentation. If they send that email and you show up on their website, you will see some different product than what they're advertising, right? So there are all sorts of things that go into making, this resolving the complexity. I think what is the solve for this might be the natural, the next thing, right? I think the solve for this is making it super easy for the user to go mine through their own data, right? Bubble out insights for them. Now, of course, a lot of this uses, both, I would say, machine learning as well as the Gen AI, right? Given a million users and thousands of products, like, do the right matching, which is more of a machine learning problem than a Gen AI problem, right? But then creatives, like, you can use Gen AI to actually match the product and put the surrounding thing along with that, right? Like a person, if you know the age of the person or you know their size, etc., you can show like, older, younger person wearing the brand. You can paint different scenarios, write the copy and all that, and that's where, or in an email, craft the right, like the message for that user. So I think the answer to me is, instead of manually doing it, which is impossible, because you're constrained by the number of people, budgets, time, and so on and so forth. You can actually go from uh, using just machine learning to leveraging Gen AI, the agentic infrastructure, and do this at massive scale. And that truly, when people do that, when brands do that, when software providers like us, like, when we offer that to the customers, is when you'll truly say the problem of spam and irrelevant messages goes away, and you feel like, hey, how did they know that, I wanted this? I was thinking about this in the morning, and somehow I got this message. It'll feel like magic, and it'll feel like
True.
true personalization, one-on-one personalization.
True. As I think, as a marketer is not anymore shooting in the dark, because there was a time when marketers used to face that problem. However, for a certain segment, FMCG, CPG, they still don't have first party data. Um, Google is anyway fishing out third party. I mean, it had to, it didn't for a few
The
reasons.
third-party cookies are long gone.
Yes, exactly. So, for a sector like FMCG, CPG, where most of the data comes in, in retail outlets, and as a company you don't have access to real-time data, what are the possible ways where they can also, probably find that customer data and, target the right customer, consumer?
See, I don't know. I mean, I think in today's world, if you don't have a direct channel with your customer, look at all the D2C brands. Like, the reason they are D2C is because they also want to establish that direct channel, like, from the brand to the customer, right? I think some of the larger format, like, multi-brand, big retailers, FMCG brands need to do that. They need to learn from the more modern, agile startups, like, that establish. Because you know what? As a customer, I'm giving you real time, behavior,
Hmm.
right? When I'm on your website, I'm on your app, I'm actually looking at the products that I care about, right? Even if you're a shampoo seller, like, depending upon the kind of hair I have, thinning hair, frizzy hair, long hair, short hair, whatever, man, I don't even know all the kinds of different kinds of things. Like, I might choose the right product for me. And that is a direct signal for a brand to go, like, figure out what the user wants, like, and then give them what they came looking for. Correct.
Hmm.
For the ones that are, like, still living in the, I don't know, the 80s and the 90s, I think they need to kind of establish the direct channel. But owning the customer journey is very, very important. I think having that behavioral tracking, having like digital footprint where customers can come in and directly buy products or at least browse products is a superpower. We work with a ton of retailers, and all of them, of course, like, they use this very, very beautifully, where they're looking at every single customer, like figuring out what they came looking for, including the price points, including the filters that these guys use to serve recommendation, to serve better products to them when they're not on the website. Like, so these things go through email, through WhatsApp, and so on and so forth.
Hmm. I see you as an observer also, in the Indian market ecosystem, because you are at a vantage point. You are seeing what companies are doing. So India is often described as one of the toughest markets, price sensitive, mobile first, and of course it is very diverse. Have you gathered any unique insights into the Indian consumer which you would like to share? Because I think it'd be very interesting, because you have been in the system for quite some long, you have been working with companies. I'm sure you would have some amazing insights into the Indian consumer.
Yeah, I mean, outside the obvious ones, which is the diversity of devices, the diversity of how they connect with your brand, etc. The language, like we mentioned, like, English or Hindi may not be someone's first language, right? Is also, I think, what they expect from a brand, right? For people who live in cities, like, like, hey, swiping a credit card online, like, might just be a natural thing because that's how you've been trained to do e-commerce. Some other tier two, tier three, maybe remote areas, they don't have the same level of trust, like, and they might expect you to, like, first send the product and then I will give you cash, right? Or price sensitivity, of course, like, as you know, that's a um, that's a trademark of our market, like, but that is not just India, like, that's all of the eastern markets.
Hmm.
Like, giving customers more value, than what they think that they should get, right? Always give more. Like, we do this with our, sorry to use this example, but like the sabji wala gives you, like, free dhania. Your shopkeeper sometimes, like, they give you something, a gift, like, while checking out, like, like a physical shopkeeper, right? Hey, here's something, a little sample for you, like, so I think we, for brands that do that, who are sensitive, etc., that it works out very well. Also, India is a very aspirational market, right? There is like a huge pyramid, and everyone, every section of the pyramid wants to move to the next level, right? Which means there are many niches and there are many, many aspirational people who want to go to the next level. So serving that is a big opportunity, according to me.
Hmm. If you had to look 5 years ahead, one bold prediction you would make up of how marketing technology will change the way brands and customers interact.
Um, 5 years out, I think, I mean, it's some of this is happening today, so I will caveat that with, now. Of course, like, privacy first, user preferences first, right? Respecting user privacy, respecting their preferences around, like, hey, just one message a week, maybe, or fewer than one message a week, because I am receiving so many things from the brand, figuring out my personal preference for a channel of communication, the brands I look for. So I think it's not 5 years, to be honest. This is literally happening in the next 6 8 months, where leveraging AI, right? Leveraging the power of LLMs and machine learning, if you put it together in an agentic framework, you can actually get much much more personalized marketing.
Recommendation.
Like, I would not even call it marketing. This is literally like a friend who knows you very well and who recommends a product to you, and you're like, oh yeah, of course, this makes complete sense, right? In the right price point, with the right kind of uh, uh, brand language, etc. That might work with you. So I think that is happening. In 5 years, it'll be very interesting, right? I think in India, market like India, which is like 1.5 billion people, we'll end up with multiple micro niches. But each of these micro niche might be like, I don't know, like 20 million people, right?
Hmm.
So there is enough market for everyone. This is not like a winner take all kind of market from a end user perspective, like from a consumer brand perspective. And I think the more narrower we kind of find sandpaper the market, the better it is for the consumer.
Truly, I think in the first half of your answer, what you truly summarized was how we are seeing agentic AIs evolve. Uh,
Correct.
and how we are seeing agentic AIs evolve both from the customer's point of view as well as from the brand's point of view. I was doing an interview with your competitor, Mr. Rajesh from Netcore, and he talked about the twin agentic AI.
Yes.
Agentic AI from a customer's point and a mirror image of that from a brand's point of view, so that the customer journey can be really in sync with the brand. We very recently heard about CleverTap's IPO plans. Where are they heading as of now?
We are executing on the plans. We are still some time away from that.
Okay,
But heads down, focus on execution and giving. Only way we can IPO is giving our customers what they came looking for, giving them the best of the product, best of the customer service, being a little ahead of the curve, so they have an edge over their competitors, is how we see things. So when I'm not out there in the public, we are heads down, focused on execution. That's the only way we can get there.
great. Thank you so much for your time. All the best to CleverTap and you, and thank you for sharing your insights. I think you know, in terms of marketing technology, I think we are really moving forward at a pace where even marketers don't understand today, because it's a very, very dynamic and fast moving space.
Correct.
Thank you so much again for giving us your time.